It's Real 96.3, the WICK's new #1 for hip hop and R&B. Your boy Cali Code excited because I was waiting on this interview, and I've been seeing his brother do so much in the community, and I just support him 100%, man. I'm just excited to have him in the building. Coach Shawn Williams of Coastal Outreach Soccer, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having us.
No. You know, I always see you out. We always get a chance to talk. Even when you're putting things together, you always contact me and talk to me. And, you know, I just was like, the other day I was listening, you know, to our news, and I seen what you guys' initiative was for this year. So I definitely wanted the people to get a hold of it. But I want the people to know a little bit about Coach Shawn Williams and Coastal Outreach Soccer and what y'all do in the community here in Brunswick.
Okay. So Coastal Outreach Soccer was founded 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we were founded for two basic principles. One is making soccer accessible within the city limits of Brunswick. And the other was to aid our black males at that time with reaching high school graduation, was just saying, hey, let's come in, let's support them. How do we support them? Let's be that village for them. Right. And we're going to see them walk across that stage and be standing on the other side of that to give them a hug, to give them a handshake. And so that was our purpose, you know, and that is still the core value of our program 20 years, you know, is that we want to be there for the youth in our community. We've seen a lot, you know, as our communities change, and we've always done our best to respond to the needs of our community.
Well, you know, just the fact that y'all, you know, your first mind is to get black males and black youth through education, which is really important as you starting out to try to meet the need. But you guys over and excel because, you know, I keep up with the scholarships coming out of your soccer club. And I want all of the kids in the community to know, you know, the type of effort you put in getting people to the next level, not just in sports, but in education.
Yes. So, I mean, we are right now the national average for high school athletes moving on to play collegiately on scholarship. Now, there are plenty of folks that go and walk on and they're a part of a roster. But we are actually saying those who actually receive money is around 6%. Ooh. You know, our average is 36%.
Oh, y'all killing it.
So, I mean, what we do works. You know, the development process, you know, we handle all that recruitment. We are bringing in coaches to always work with our students, to work with our coaches so that we understand what they're looking for and we understand the technical side that we need, how we need to develop our students. And then also then on the academic side, right? They know, coaches know now that if they get a COS student athlete, they're not going to have any issues.
Oh, I like how that sounds. Okay. I like to hear that.
No issues. They're going to be great in the locker room. They're going to be great with their teammates. They're going to be great within the community, and they're going to be an asset on that campus. So, and that's because of everything that we do prepares them to be a leader. Oh, you know, when they leave here, they know what it means to serve.
Right.
They know what it means to compete in the classroom and compete on the field and compete in life.
Man, but those components, and sometimes I don't want to have to. You work in with the school system, so it's not in me, you know, talking bad about the school system, but sometimes that extra mile can't be seen in the public school system, even in the athletics. You talking about this community, you know, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, there's so many people who don't get to go on to the next level, but you being intentional about the youth in your soccer club being able to go to that next level, whether it's just education or to actually continue athletics, is very, very important. But do you think as you doing soccer, do you think the community sees it as much? Like, is it hard for you visually for them to know, hey, 36% of our kids are getting scholarships? And then, you know, even though the word is out, but when you particularly talk about the kids you started the program for, do you think they are aware of how much you guys do at Coastal Outreach?
No, I don't think the community is fully aware, and it is because of soccer, right?
Right.
But we have to understand this is the world's game.
True.
There's tremendous exposure that our children get because of this particular game. And so I think that counter, our community thinks that we don't play soccer.
Right.
Around the world, yes, we do.
That's all. And it's one of the sports, basketball, football. These sports are so much more expensive than where we come from in other parts of the world where you can pick up a soccer ball, you can go.
Yes.
Right?
So you just need a ball and a friend, right?
Right.
And you're able to play and you're able to develop. And so I think that really becomes the challenge for our community is to say that, okay, but I'm gonna tell you this, right? I've yet to come across a kid that once we put a soccer ball at their feet, that they reject soccer.
Right.
They love to play it.
Right.
It's just that we have to convince their parents that it's okay for them to play it and to get behind it and support it. I never played soccer.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
I never played soccer until 2000. I didn't know what the game was.
Wow.
My 5-year-old son introduced me to the game because there were individuals that he was going to school with that were playing soccer. And they invited us to come play this new sport that I had no idea about. But once we got into it, I'm like, hey, man, this is all the components of all the stuff I love.
Right.
I ran track. Oh, this is, yes. I played basketball. I played football. All of those components in those three sports are combined in soccer. And this is the ultimate, what I call, player's game. Because there's no coach calling a play.
It's all you. It's all you and you.
You out there have to make the decisions.
Wow.
It's life. And I tell students all the time, out here on this field, you're going to deal with adversity. And it's going to be up to you as an individual how you deal with that adversity. And it's going to be up to your teammates to figure out how they support you through that adversity.
Wow.
We can't call a timeout and bring you over to the sideline and help you calm down or think through stuff. So this is life, right? We deal with adversity all the time in life. And we got to make decisions all the time in life as life is going on. We don't get to call a timeout and say, okay, hey, I just need to stop. I need everything to stop, right?
Game keep going.
And so this gives them that opportunity. And we give it to them. We allow them to have it in all of those areas. And what we do, we start to see it play into the other areas of their life, the academics. Now, hey, I'm dealing with a tough problem in math or the sentence structure in the ELA. And you know what? I can work through it. But then I also understand how to support others who are working through this as well. Our STEM program with the computer-aided drafting and design. Our kids just redesigned bioretention cells for Coffin Park.
Oh, wow.
High school students working with landscape architects, with learning how to use survey equipment, calculating the geometry and the math to understand stormwater runoff. What I'm saying is that we sometimes lower the expectations for our children.
Wow, hey, but you know what? Just even with you saying that, because you naming all the stuff that you're doing, that's outside of soccer. That's educational. That's life foundational. And you're giving them options. You're not just saying, come out here and kick the ball and you better go get a scholarship. No, that's not what's going on. You guys are actually building. But were you saying, parents, what you saying them kind of limiting or holding their child back? Or do you think they're just trying to limit them to a certain sport? Or is it limited all the way around, like in the community? What do you see?
So I think it is that we become conditioned, right? This is what's acceptable, right? Hey, if I tell my friends my son is playing football or my daughter is playing basketball, then that becomes acceptable, right? And so it's hard, for us as parents and as adults, it's sometimes hard for us to step out of our comfort zone.
Wow.
Our children will do it.
Right, they will.
They will try new experiences. They will try, hey, I want the exposure. I want you to challenge me
Right.
academically. I want you to challenge me out here on this field. Hey, set these new expectations for me, right? I want all of this stuff. It is us as adults that sometimes put these guardrails up that prevent our children
Yeah.
from truly excelling in areas that they've never been exposed to. Because we are afraid of it, right?
We got our own fears.
We don't understand that game.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't understand what you're doing in computer aided drafting and design.
Right.
We don't understand what you're doing in ecology. So we don't understand those things, right? This algebra, this geometry that you're working on. So we sometimes are fearful that we're not going to be able to answer questions that our children may have of us. Instead of saying, okay, here's the support network. And let me lean on my support network. It's okay for me not to know everything. It's okay for me to communicate to my child that I don't know everything. But this is how we do it. This is how, as a village, as a community, this is how we help each other and elevate each other. I don't have to know everything. But you know what? Callie knows this. Hey, I got somebody I can call and they're going to sit down and talk to you and walk you through this. And that doesn't take away from me being a parent.
Oh man, there's help out there. If you don't know, you go and get access to certain things, and that the parent ego. We see it, especially in what you're doing, youth sports. You see fights going on at these activities. They're fighting with the referees and the umpires. So there is a component to youth sports that is ran by the parents. And the interest. For me, my drawing interest with y'all is the fact that you do so much outside of the sports. Like if we're going to spend this amount of time, if I'm at football practice 4 or 5 hours a week or 8 hours a week, the fact that at the same place that I'm enjoying myself, I'm actually learning and they're helping me in other parts of my life.
And I think that's critical, right? One of the things that we do is that we focus on development. In the 20 years that I've done this, not one player can tell you coach ever said anything about winning.
Wow.
Okay, they come to ask me, what is the score? I have no idea, right? Because it is that our focus is on their development.
Right.
And when we're able to get them to take something that they're enjoying, this sport, and they're focused on, now, hey, we're talking about development in the classroom. We're talking about development in life. And how do you take time to develop these skill sets, right? And so it translates to other parts of their life. But we're gonna talk about, our focus is development. And some people come back with me talking about, well, folks that lose all the time, those are the only ones that don't focus on winning. It's a difference between winning and competing.
I like that.
Okay. All right. You can always find a way to win, but there's very few people that can compete on a technical side.
I like that.
Right? That has the knowledge, right? Anybody can go memorize some stuff for a test.
True.
Right? In 2 weeks, are you going to have that knowledge? Have you developed where you got that knowledge at the end? So that's what our focus is on. Yes, we want our kids. We know that if they got a 3.0, most of our coaches are going to take them.
Right.
So we understand that there's some value in that grade that you're earning in that classroom.
Definitely.
But it's also, we put that value on the knowledge that you're gaining. Don't just go memorize something for a test. Don't just go out here and kick the ball that's far down the field and you outrun someone and you score a goal and, we won a game. No.
Yeah.
Let's break it down to the technical side of everything and help you understand what it takes for you to develop and for you to become a lifelong learner.
Man, that's so powerful for you to say lifelong learner. And, with us talking, we've been talking and just going to that community conversation. It seems like that's like the struggle nowadays. You know, we're talking about the parents in our community is getting people off the surface of things, you know, to dig deeper into things and to go, and you actually teaching the kids that and having that tool, they're going to need it. And that's like what you're doing in the community. You're increasing whatever their parents already got on their palate, you're increasing it and helping it. And you're widening their chance for success. When you talk about exposure and exposing the kids to different things, are most of the kids that join the soccer club, are they first timers, or usually have they had some experience?
So we get a mixture. I'm gonna tell you, we talked about our soccer ball campaign that we've been doing, and we have our next one on Thursday in McIntyre Court. But this is the thing, they were having them fill out a survey. 76% of those that have filled out the survey have never played soccer.
Wow.
We generally, like I am, is a first generation soccer. Right?
Right.
So the majority of our kids are first generational soccer players and soccer families. Okay. And it's like, it's okay.
Right. It's something new.
Yeah, it is okay. We're in an environment where we'll get the school referral, we'll get some kids that are in 8th or 9th grade, right? That are coming out and saying, hey, I heard about what y'all are doing over here and I want to play. And they come out with no soccer skills.
Wow.
You know what? That's okay. Mm-hmm. We are playing travel soccer, so we are playing very high level competitive soccer. But we are still going to take the time to say that child that just come into our program that has very little technical soccer skills, you're going to play half of the game, just like our best player out here is going to play half of the game.
Right.
Because we're helping them to understand that everybody has value.
Ooh, I like that.
I
like that.
When we go into a work environment, not everybody is going to be that top person, that supervisor or whatever. Everybody's skill set within that office or that production line, everybody's skill sets are going to be different.
Right.
But when we start to value everyone's skill set, now we can be successful. Mm-hmm. Whether that's on the soccer field, whether that's with whatever corporation that you're working for, every environment, right? Not everybody's going to be the top employer and top skill set in whatever that field is.
But that doesn't mean they don't have value.
They don't have value.
Right.
And we help them to understand that everybody has value and to respect that value. Right? Wherever you're at on this team, wherever you're at academically, right? We're going to respect everybody where they're at. But if you're able to uplift someone, then you uplift that person as well.
I like that.
We work as a family to uplift everyone so we all succeed. We all reach our potential. We all see that we have value. And we understand that it takes all of us, right? It takes everybody in this community to deal with everything that we got going on in this community.
All hands on deck. You definitely 100%. Because just from what we've been seeing in the increase in some of the violence, just some of the problems that you hear through the communities going on at schools, and just even weekend activities, certain things, we have to get a hold on like the culture here. But everybody has to be hands on, right?
Yes. So, because again, everybody's on that spectrum, right? Everybody can add to that. Everybody can do that. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe it was. Okay, we were at Perry Park when shots rang out.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So we had kids, and we understood. All those kids just left the park, right? We had some come run to us, because it's like, okay, I can't get to my apartment, but here's an adult. Right. I can get to this adult and seek safety. Right. So we've gone through this. So the young man that was killed, 2 months ago, that's right there by Whispering Oak. So that's across the street.
Right there. Right.
So where we at? So we are having a ride We are riding past that memorial every day. Our students are walking past that memorial every day.
Wow.
So either we as a community say that we're going to be here for these children and we're going to figure this out as a community. And for us, it's what we're doing, right? It's okay, here's a soccer ball. Let's start a conversation. Let me meet your parents. Let's do that.
Right.
So I want everyone to understand that we are here to be that resource. But we're not here to say that we want to be alone with being that resource.
Right.
We're saying that everybody in the community, let's do this together.
Right.
You know, let's help our children to see that there are pathways. There are pathways for them that allow them to figure out what their passion is. And there are pathways and support to help them develop that, whatever that is.
Ooh.
You can't tell me that a child wakes up and says that, okay, I'm going to be a killer.
Right. Nah. Nobody does that. Yeah.
Nobody does
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right? There are circumstances that lend to that development.
Right.
So either we can, as a community, positively pour into these children and say, you know what, it doesn't matter where you're starting from.
Right.
It does not matter your social economic status. It does not matter that your lights and water is off. It does not matter that you don't have on clean clothes.
Right.
Wherever you're at, I'm going to meet you at that point, and I'm going to say, okay, how do we provide the resources,
Right.
the safe environment, and still keep your dignity intact? Right?
I like
We're
that.
not belittling you because of where you come from or your circumstances.
Right.
We're saying, okay, this is the starting point. Here's a new expectation, but there's going to always be a support system for you.
Right.
So when you're going through those challenges, we're there. When you are achieving some of your goals, we're there to give you a high five and celebrate you. Right? We forget about doing that. When there's negative stuff that happens, we rally.
Everybody talking. Everybody out in the streets. Always. Yeah.
You know, but when our children are doing positive things, normally we're the only ones there.
Whew. That's rough.
So if we can rally around the negative, why can't we rally around the positive and show up on a consistent basis? I'm not actually, and so some people do this, right? They'll show up for 2 weeks.
Right. And then they out. They back to doing what they're doing.
Right? Change does not happen in a short period of time. Change happens over years and years of commitment.
I like that. And you know what? I live by that, Coach Shawn. And you know, what you're talking about, years and years of commitment, you've been putting years and years of commitment in the community. And I definitely got to have you back because I got so many questions to ask you. But I got to ask you my flagship question for this interview about the new initiative. I'm hearing there's Coastal Outreach. Are you raising money for a facility or what's going on? Y'all shaking up the city, man. You're in the news. What's going on?
So we have an opportunity to bring at least a minimum of $200,000 into our community.
Wow.
To develop 2 new fields, right? So we were talking about at Risley Annex.
Nice.
You know, so which has been a school that really hasn't had a lot going on because there's not really a functioning school, right?
Right. It's
and
just
so
building
it's
in the neighborhood.
So we're looking at saying, okay, how do we start to transform this area? The school system is on board. We have a 20-year land usage agreement with them. So they're saying to us, hey, just roll it. We've shown them our vision.
Yeah.
Right? That what we would like to see go over there. And so this is going to be the first step in this. Glenville Apartments. Right. So the kids that live in Glenville Apartments, the public housing, they do not have we have some green space
On across the street, right.
That's so green. So we're saying with a partnership with the Housing Authority, which has been a partner of ours since the inception of this program, how do we then bring these resources together and now be able to serve those kids that are in that Risley Annex area and serve the kids and families that are at Glen Villa. So right now, what's happening until May the 10th, every dollar that we raise is going to be matched up to $100,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's up to us as a community to say, okay, hey, if we're saying that we need more positive outlets and safe environments for our children, this is your time to step up and say, okay, whether that's $1 or $10 or $100 or $1,000, whatever that may be, step up.
And you know what? Not even to cut you off, but if you see the facility that you guys got going, Perry Park, if you see what kind of stuff you got going at Howard Coffin, it's totally worth it to aid you guys in what you're doing and support y'all. Because I'm going to tell you, just everything you said, my mind blown. Like, I talked to you, Coach, but like everything you said, my mind is blown. And I know that what you're doing is a good foundation or a good launching point for the community to get to where we need to be, you know? And so that's the main thing, is to continue to push people like you in the community who are hands-on. But at the same time, we also want to highlight what you're doing, man. And even with you doing more, and you also right now raising to get more fields, raising funds to get more fields and more facilities and access to the kids right in our community, talking about Risley Annex, talking about Glen Villa. I just think it's powerful, man. And I really, really appreciate what you've continued to do and that consistency, because it means so much. I would talk you up some more, but I gotta get your information. Where can the people get in touch with you, and how can they be a part before the May 10th deadline?
May 10th. So you can if you're looking to make a donation, you can go onto our website, which is coastoutreachsoccer.com. So www.coastoutreachsoccer.com, and you can make a donation there on our platforms that are there available for you. If you're wanting to mail a check, you can do that as well. You can do that. Our mailing address is 1116 Lanier Boulevard, Brunswick, Georgia, 31520. And all your donations are tax deductible. We are a 501c nonprofit, so we will send you your tax exempt letter. But we need your support right now. You know, I know that we are able to do this, you know, and so, but we just need everyone to say, okay, I'm committed to helping this organization out. I'm committed to helping these children out. I'm committed to giving that experience and that exposure, because this is what this is. Definitely. This is just the beginning. That's the first thing, is rolling out the soccer ball that allows us to do all the other stuff, but we got to have that beginning point. And that starts with having fields that are accessible to our children, where they can walk out their door and step onto a field with a caring adult.
Man, well, Coach Shawn, we're going to get you that support. And whatever you need, just holler at us over here at Real 96.3. We definitely got you, and appreciate what you're doing in the community.
Okay. And I appreciate this opportunity, man. This is big, you know, for us to be able to share. And so thank you for giving us a platform to be able to share what we're doing.
Hey, no problem, Coach. And I see you like I always see you out in the community doing something, definitely. So I'm grateful to have you in. Hey, Coach Shawn Williams, Coastal Outreach Soccer, Real 96.3, iHeartRadio.